Wealthsimple is a popular online investment platform in Canada that's been around for exactly 1 decade now. It was founded in 2014 by a few different people, including Michael Katchen, who's the current CEO, and it's grown substantially over a pretty short period of time. Now, its largest owner is the Power Corporation of Canada, who own about 55% of the company. Now, back in 2014, when the platform was first created, it only had one main product, a Robo-Advisor called Wealthsimple Invest. That's actually the first investing product that I ever used from Wealthsimple. Now, in general, a Robo-Advisor allows you to select your risk level and then fund your account with money, and then an algorithm actually does the rest of the work for you by selecting ETFs, creating your portfolio, and then purchasing and rebalancing your portfolio for you. Wealthsimple's original goal was to make passive investing accessible and low cost for the majority of Canadians to get more people started with investing, and they did just that. Now, since then, the platform's grown. In 2019, they launched Wealthsimple Trade, which is a self-directed investment platform that allows you to purchase your own stocks and ETFs directly and, more importantly, commission-free. Then in 2020, they launched Wealthsimple Cash, which is actually a hybrid high-interest savings and spending account. They also have their own tax filing software called Wealthsimple Tax, and they're coming out with their own mortgage product as well. So what was once an investing app with a Robo-Advisor has become a full-fledged financial technology platform where you can kind of do it all. But their original goal of being an accessible, low-cost platform is still holding true. In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Wealthsimple platform and mostly focusing on the Wealthsimple Trade product, including how to set up and use your Wealthsimple Trade account. So let's get into it.
Like Steph mentioned, Wealthsimple now offers multiple different products, but let's start off by walking through some of their main ones. If we look at their website, you can see that they have the Wealthsimple Cash account, which is their version of a high-interest savings account. Now, I say their version because it's also a hybrid account that combines the features of a savings account and a checking account all in one. Right now, the interest rate is between 3.5% to 4.5%. Now is a good time to talk about Wealthsimple's tiers, and they have 3 different tiers: Core, Premium, and Generation. The first one is Core. So if you have under $100,000 across all of your Wealthsimple products, and this is combined amongst all accounts, so saving and investing, you are a core client. This impacts the fees you pay for the products, and for the cash account, you get 3.5% interest on your savings. Next is Premium. So if you have at least $100,000 across all of the Wealthsimple products, then you're a premium client. And for the cash account, you get 4% interest on your savings. The last one is Generation. So if you have at least $500,000 across all of the Wealthsimple products, then you're a Generation client. And for the cash account, you get 4.5% interest on your savings. So that's the interest rate that you get with the Wealthsimple Cash account. A few other things to mention is that you can actually open up to 8 different cash accounts, which can be really useful if you like to organize your saving accounts based on their purpose. For example, you can see that Steph has a few different cash accounts that all roll up into one main bucket. She has $10,000 in her emergency fund and over $3,000 in her other savings. Now, another thing to mention is that the money that you keep within a Wealthsimple Cash account is CDIC insured. What you do have to remember though is that Wealthsimple is not a bank, but they keep the money that's held in a cash account with CDIC member financial institutions. CDIC only covers up to $100,000 held in a savings account per member institution, but Wealthsimple has arrangements with 5 different CDIC member institutions. So that means that you can keep up to $500,000 in a cash account and still be eligible for CDIC coverage. Like I mentioned before, it's also designed to be an account that you can spend from if you want to. You can get a free cash card, physical and digital, and you get 1% cash back. You can also set up direct deposits to this account, and if you do, you can get even higher interest rates on your savings. On top of that, there's no fee to open and use this account. You can send e-transfers, you can pay bills using pre-authorized debits, and there's no foreign transaction fees while you're traveling. They also offer a roundup feature where you can round up purchases made from your cash card to the nearest dollar. And then Wealthsimple will automatically transfer the difference to the same account that your cash account rewards go to. So for example, your investment account. So if you buy a coffee for $6.50 and you have the roundup feature turned on, 50 cents will be sent to your investment account right after making the purchase. So the purchase will have been rounded up to $7.
If you go back to their website and scroll down to the low fee investing your way section, you can see that they have the managed investing option, which is the Robo-Advisor, and the self-directed investing option, which is the do-it-yourself platform. Managed investing via a Robo-Advisor is a more hands-off approach. You don't actually select what you're investing in. Instead, you pick a risk level or a portfolio type, like growth, balanced, or conservative, and then fund your account with money. Now, when you're selecting your risk level, I know it at least used to be on a scale of 1 to 10, with the lower options corresponding to a conservative portfolio and the higher options corresponding to a growth portfolio. Now, a growth portfolio is made up of mostly equities and less fixed income, and then a conservative portfolio is made up of mostly fixed income and less equities. A balanced portfolio is a mix of both. Now, the fee for managed investing is between 0.2 to 0.5%, depending on how much money you have invested. If you're a generalist generation member, then it's between 0.2 to 0.4%. If you're a premium member, it's 0.4%. And then if you're a core member, it's 0.5%. This is again more expensive than doing it yourself, but less expensive than paying a real person to invest in high fee options like mutual funds for you. I also want to mention that they have multiple portfolio types, including classic, socially responsible, and halal investing. There's a lot more that we could cover when it comes to using a robo-advisor, but for the remainder of this video, we're going to go more in depth on Wealthsimple Trade, which is the self-directed platform instead. Now, if you do want to hear more about managed investing, then definitely check out some of the older videos that we have on our channel, because I actually used this option for about 3 years myself.
Now let's look at their self-directed option. Self-directed platforms allow you to invest fully on your own. Wealthsimple's platform allows you to do this commission-free. So basically, you don't have to pay a fee to open an account, to sign up, or even purchase investments. It's completely free. Now, to be more clear, what I just said is specifically relevant to CAD-listed stocks and ETFs. You do, however, have to pay for USD-listed investment options because you have to pay a currency conversion fee in order to convert your money into USD. That way you can purchase USD-listed stocks and ETFs. The currency conversion fee is 1.5%, and this can add up over time. On top of that, they also charge core members for USD accounts. So again, if you're purchasing USD-listed investment options, you might want a USD account to hold your cash in. And Wealthsimple charges $10 a month in order to have that account. Something else to note is that a USD account is often necessary once you get to a point where you intend to sell some of your USD investments. In this case, you avoid the currency conversion fee on the sale of your investments because you would now have a USD account to hold the proceeds of your sale. So it's a very low cost platform to use apart from keeping an eye out on USD related expenses and fees. Now, I think that one of the best things about Wealthsimple in general, and specifically their self-directed platform, is just how user-friendly and simple it is to use. Both the mobile app and desktop versions are super easy to navigate. It's pretty intuitive to know where to go for what, it's visually appealing, and there's no extra stuff on there. They just show you what you need to see, and again, they keep it really simple. The other thing is that they mainly use simple and plain language instead of technical jargon that a lot of the other investing platforms use. They want you to understand what's going on with your money, which we love. Now back to what they have available on the platform. You can use Wealthsimple Trade to purchase stocks and ETFs, which is what the majority of investors want and need access to. And they more recently added options and margin trading as well. Now, we're not gonna get into that here, but they do have those features now. The other thing I wanna mention is that even though this is a self-directed investment platform, Wealthsimple does have customer service that's available for you. Any customer can call them or chat with them using the online chat box. Also, if you're a premium and generation member, then you have priority support via Wealthsimple's mobile app, and you have access to Wealthsimple's advisors if you have more advanced questions. We're actually gonna do a walkthrough of the Wealthsimple Trade platform in a second, but first, let's go more in depth on the features of this self-directed investment platform.
Now that we know more about Wealthsimple Trade, we wanted to run through a very clear pros and cons list from our point of view. So let's start with the pros. The first pro is no fee self-directed investment accounts. Like we mentioned before, there's no fees to sign up for Wealthsimple Trade or to open up any of the investment accounts that they have available, which means that there's no money that you ever have to pay in order to actually become a member or just to have an investment account open, which is great. The next is commission-free trading. There's no fees for purchasing stocks or ETFs using this investment platform. Now, this is a great perk because many of the different investment platforms in Canada charge up to $10 per trade. So that's every time you buy or sell a stock or an ETF every single time, which can really add up. They also have fractional trading. Now, this is a somewhat newer feature that's actually really amazing. The ability to purchase fractional shares means that you can purchase pieces of shares instead of just full shares. For a more real-life example, let's say that I have $1,000 to invest and I want to purchase an ETF that's trading for exactly $30 a share right now. $1,000 divided by $30 per share is 33.33333. So that means that without fractional shares being an option, I'd have to purchase only 33 shares of this ETF, and my other $10 would just be sitting there, not invested and losing value. Now with fractional shares, I can purchase exactly 33.333 shares of the ETF, meaning that all of my money can be invested. Now, many platforms in Canada don't offer fractional shares, but some are starting to after Wealthsimple, like TD Direct Investing. The next pro is the dividend reinvestment feature. Now, some stocks or ETFs that contain stocks pay dividends, which are essentially just frequent payments, so actual money that you get paid for buying a piece of their company. With this feature, the money that you're paid out automatically gets reinvested into the same stock or ETF that it came from, so that your money is consistently being invested without you having to do anything yourself. Right now, you can only turn on the dividend reinvestment feature for an entire investment account. So for example, I could turn it on for my TFSA, but then off for my RSP. But if I purchased 3 different investments inside of my TFSA, I would have to have the dividend reinvestment feature turned on for all 3. I couldn't turn it on for one of the investments and then have it off for the other 2. The next one is the automation features. There's actually been some really amazing improvements made to Wealthsimple Trade's automation abilities over the past year or so. First of all, you can set it up so that money gets transferred automatically from another account, like your checking or savings account from any institution, into your investment account of choice on a specific schedule. So for example, I personally have money going from my checking account to my investment account on the exact same day every single month. On top of that, one of my favorite new features is called recurring investments. You can set up an automation that purchases the same stock or ETF on a specific schedule. So if you had your money automatically deposited on the 1st of every month, you could then have that money automatically buying shares of a specific investment on the 5th of every month, for example. The next pro is the range of investment account options. Now you can open up a range of different investment accounts with this platform, including TFSAs, FHSAs, RRSPs, RRIFs, IRAs, and non-registered accounts, which are called personal accounts. Now, they don't offer RESPs, but you could open up an RESP with their managed investing platform or RDSPs. Now, this could be a drawback if these accounts are relevant to you, so we hope that they add them soon. The next is joint account functionality. Now, this actually used to be a con for Wealthsimple, as up until this year, actually just a few months ago, they didn't actually have any joint account options. But now you can open either a joint cash account, so their high interest savings account, or a joint non-registered investment account, and you can open that using either their self-directed platform or their managed investing platform. Now, you can't open up a joint registered account, so the TFSA, RSP, all of those accounts, because those don't exist in general anywhere, with the exception of the spousal RSP. But you can open up multiple different non-registered joint accounts, specifically up to 8. The next pro are their perks and tiers. So like we mentioned, the ability to be able to go from a core member up to a premium member and potentially even a generation member is a nice touch, especially since the core benefits are already pretty good. So it's nice to have a few little extra bonuses on top of that. Now, the biggest thing to note here is that if you're a premium member, you have complimentary access to USD accounts. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about USD accounts actually with the cons in a second, but just know that if you're a premium member, USD accounts are free. And finally, the last pro is consistent innovation. We definitely want to note that Wealthsimple is constantly making new updates, adding new features, listening to customer feedback, and in general just innovating, which is definitely nice to have with the investment platform that you're using.
Now let's talk about the cons, which is definitely a much smaller list, but there's still a few things that we need to highlight. Now, the first one is that you can't do Norbert's Gambit. Now, some of you watching this may have heard of Norbert's Gambit before, which is basically a method that some people use in order to avoid paying high currency conversion fees when they're converting their CAD to USD. Wealthsimple doesn't currently support the features that you would actually need in order to complete the Norbert's Gambit process. So if you're someone who wants to buy USD listed stocks and ETFs and wants to use this method, Wealthsimple Trade wouldn't work for you. Now, the second one is that you can't keep a Wealthsimple account if you're a non-resident of Canada. Wealthsimple doesn't allow people to live outside of the country and maintain their investment accounts. If you move outside the country, you'll either have to keep your money with Wealthsimple but put a hold on your account so you can't use it, meaning that you can't take money out of the account or put money into it, or you'll have to transfer your accounts to another investment platform. Now, although this is a standard practice for people who are no longer Canadian residences for tax purposes, from what we've seen online, Wealthsimple does seem to be a bit more intense than some of the other financial institutions. They even state that if you're a Canadian resident for tax purposes, you may still not be considered a Canadian resident from their securities perspective. In general, this is really just something to be aware of and keep in mind.
Now let's actually jump onto the platform so we can give you a walkthrough of how it looks and how it works. Now, first, if you're looking to sign up for Wealthsimple for the first time, if you go to their website, you can start with the Get Started button. You'll see it on the top right-hand side of the screen. But if you click on it, you'll see that they actually prompt you to download the Wealthsimple app and do it there instead. Now, you can bypass this if you're more of a desktop person, at least for signing up. If you're interested in doing it that way, you can click right here, sign up on the web. But they do encourage you to do mobile first. We also pretty much only use the app on our phone unless we're doing something for videos. They're also an app first platform, so all of their updates tend to be pushed through to the app first as well. So definitely recommend downloading that and looking into it. Okay, so I'm gonna jump onto my phone as well so I can show you what that looks like. You're just gonna open up the App Store, search for Wealthsimple here. And then this right here is the app that you're looking for. It's just one app for everything. Now for me, it's gonna say open because I already have a Wealthsimple account. For you, it would say sign up or download, and then you're gonna sign up via the app that way. Now, because both Dennis and I have accounts, we can't actually show you what that process looks like directly, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. They're gonna ask you for your personal information. So think your name, your birthday, your address, your citizenship, probably some questions as well about where you're currently at with your money. Then you're gonna eventually select the investment account that you wanna open up first. Now, obviously you might have one in mind, which is great, but you can also easily open up multiple accounts later on as well. So keep that in mind. We'll show you that in just a second. And then other than that, it's gonna be just agreeing to all the terms and conditions. And then I think that's pretty much it. Again, like I said, pretty simple and straightforward process. If you do have any questions about it, make sure you ask us in the comments below. Okay, so now I'm actually gonna take you into my personal Wealthsimple account and app so you can see how it looks once you've already signed up. Obviously, this is my real account, so it has my numbers and account types in there, so I'll use those to kind of give you examples as we go through it. When you first open up the app, this is the home page. You can see the graph. This is something that Wealthsimple's done for a long time now. So first of all, the number at the top is your total amount of money that you have across all your Wealthsimple accounts. So if you have a cash account, investment accounts, all of that is rounded up into one total number here. And it also tells you how much you're up from a dollar value and also a percentage. And you can change that based on 1 month, so the past month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, or all time. So that's what the graph is showing you there, which I really like. It's fun to see your progress, especially now that I've been using these apps, a combination of them for I think almost 4 years now. It'll be 4 in the new year. So it's cool to actually have that progression over time. So if you scroll down still on the home page, but below that graph, you'll see that there's your holdings and your account types. Let's look at the holdings first. So this is just all of the different ETFs or stocks, whatever you invest in across all of your different accounts that you have open. Now, I just so happen to only have 2 holdings across my accounts. If you've watched our other videos, you would know what those are, but these are listed here. If you have a bunch more, then you can kind of sort them either alphabetically by the price, the value, gain, expiry date, all of that is in here. For me, obviously with just the 2 of them, it doesn't really matter, but I can see them here. And then if you go back to the home page and scroll down, now you're into the accounts. Like I said, all of your accounts are here. So I have a Wealthsimple Cash account. I actually have 3 underneath there. I have my TFSA, FHSA, RRSP, and non-registered account. I actually don't use my non-registered account. I think I must have just opened that up at some point while using Wealthsimple Trade, but it's sitting there ready for me whenever I do want to use it in the future. Now, before I talk to you a little bit more about those different account types, I do want to show you how easy it can be to add another account, like I mentioned earlier. So you just literally click add an account right there on the app, and then you can either open a new account or you can transfer an account to Wealthsimple. So let's say that you already have a TFSA, for example, with a different financial institution. You can transfer it completely over to Wealthsimple using this feature here. For now, I'm just going to click open an account to show you the different types. You can open up all the different accounts directly right on here. A cash account, for example, is pretty easy. Your options are either you and someone else, so an individual or a joint account since that feature is available. Let's say I click just for myself, it gives me more of the details, and then also I can open it right here. I'm gonna give you one more example too, other than the cash account. Now I already have the TFSA, RSP, FHSA, all of that open, so I'm gonna scroll down to one that I don't have. Let's use the Lira here. If I click in it, you can see that I have the option to open up either a self-directed one, so Wealthsimple Trade, or the managed investing, so right into the Robo-Advisor right here, since they offer this account for both of those different ways of investing. So if I click on stocks, options, and ETFs, that's the self-directed option, start trading. They'll give you more information again, and then you can go ahead and open the account. All right, so let's back out of here for a second. Like I said, there's also information that I really like about Wealthsimple. There's an article right here where you can learn more about all the different accounts if you want to directly in their app, which is just a nice feature to have. So now if we scroll back to my different accounts, you can see a few features here. First, with my cash accounts, you can see that I have the multiple ones all under there. They roll up into one. Then I have my TFSA, FHSA, and RRSP. I'm gonna use my TFSA as an example here. If I actually click the drop down for my TFSA, you'll see that I have 2. It's because I used to have a TFSA managed account. Like I mentioned before, I started with Wealthsimple Invest, the Robo-Advisor. I've actually since completely closed that down and transferred everything out into just the other TFSA, the self-directed one. I've left the account open so that I can see all the account history, which is nice, so that's just why that's there. But let's click into my main self-directed TFSA. You can see when I do that, I have the same option here, just under the TFSA to see my total amount of money. And you can also see how much it's up by dollar value and percent, again, by those same, like that scale at the bottom. You can actually go a little bit more granular though when you're into the account type. I can go by 1 day. I can see today that I'm up currently 0.29%. And then I can go by the week, month, 3 month, a year, and then also all time just for my TFSA. If you scroll down, you also see how much money you have available to trade. Right now I have no money. My TFSA is maxed out, so I'm not gonna be trading anymore in this account. And it shows me what's in my portfolio, which is just one single fund. Now, if I want to, I can select that fund. I can see more details about XEQT in this case specifically. I can see how many shares I have, how much money I have, my average price. All of that information's here in the app. I can also go back and I can buy more within my TFSA from being in the account. So right now I'm inside of my TFSA, right? And I can either add funds or trade. Before I trade, I have to add funds. I'd have to add more money to my account. I'm not gonna do that now because like I said, it's maxed out, but you would do that and then you'd click the trade button. You can search for any holding, any stock or ETF that you want to. If I was just gonna continue to buy more XEQT, I could select it here, select either buy or sell. You could also sell in here. In this case, I would buy. And then you can input your number of shares or the amount. How I typically do it is if I'm investing $2,000 that month, I would add the amount as 2,000. And you can see here that it lets you do those fractional shares. So this is an example of that in action. Again, because I'm doing this from within my TFSA, you see that option there at the bottom. And the other thing I wanna point out to you as well is it's the type of order you're gonna make is up here in the corner. So it says market. There's also limit, stop limit, or recurring. Really quickly, market is just you'd be buying the ETF or stock at the current price that it's available for. Limit, you're actually selecting what amount you want to buy it for, and if it reaches that amount, the order would be filled. So let's say I was going to do that, just for example's sake, I'm going to click review. It gives you an overview of everything. Actually, in my case right now, it says I need more funds, so that makes sense. But it would give you an overview of everything, and then you could select to actually make your trade. Okay, so let's back out of here for a second. Like I said before, this is my TFSA specifically. I could do the exact same thing inside of my FHSA and my RRSP. Same thing, it shows you the actual chart. It shows you how much funds you have available to trade, what your portfolio is, and you can buy directly within it as well. Now, you don't have to buy from within your accounts. By the way, that's basically everything that's on this homepage. The only other thing to note is your watch list. In my case, I have just the funds that I actually invested on my watch list, but you could add any stock or ETF here. You wouldn't be investing in it by adding it to your watch list. It would just be easily accessible, so you don't have to search for it every single time. Now, speaking of searching for it, that's the next button at the bottom, the little search icon. The Discover page is where you're gonna actually search for stocks or ETFs that you're interested in researching or actually buying. There's also a lot of good information in here too. They have their podcasts, different articles, they have different examples of watch lists, some different products that they're trying to sell to you as well, all in this Discover tab. But the search bar is where you're gonna wanna go. You can select by category, so you can look at all the ETFs they have available by CAD or by USD, or you could search for yourself. So you can search funds, right, directly, and they'd pop up. They tell you what exchange they're listed on and the name of the fund. You could also look up Apple, let's say. There you go. Tells you the exact same information and all the information about the stock. One more thing to note is that if you wanted to add something to your watch list, you just click this little star right here at the top, add it to watch list, and then if you wanted to remove it, click it again and it's gone. All right, so now we're done with this tab. Again, basically where you're gonna search for your stocks and ETFs. I also wanna point out the little arrows icon at the bottom here. This is how you move your money around within the Wealthsimple app. So you can deposit money. So again, adding funds either from a different institution into this one, from your cash account, wherever you're depositing money from, you would do that with this feature. You can also transfer money. If I click on transfer real quick, you can see that this is between your different Wealthsimple accounts. So from one cash account to another, anything that you're moving from one account to another within Wealthsimple, that's on the transfer tab. There's also withdraw if you want to take money out of any of your accounts. Paying a bill, bill paying is one of the features that they have. That's here too. Send or request money, that's also for e-transfers. So if you click in here, you can send or request directly from the app. Other than that, the main one that I'm excited to talk about here is automations. So this is where some of those features that we talked about before come into play. If I click on automations, you can see auto deposits is first. This is one of my favorite features. The only reason I don't have it set up right now is because I recently started investing in a brand new investment account. Otherwise, what I typically do once I know I'm going to be investing reoccurringly on a frequent basis into one specific investment account, as I'll set up auto deposits so that my money is automatically being taken from my checking account to my investment account in that specific one that I mentioned before on a frequent basis. So again, highly recommend using this feature. You can create a new auto deposit at any time. You're going to deposit into a specific account and select that account, and then it'll deposit your money on the schedule that you set. If I go back, there's also auto invest your pay. That's a feature that they have too. And then recurring investments, I really want to highlight quickly. Same thing. Once I set up an auto deposit, I then typically set up recurring investments so that my money's going into the investment account on a set schedule every month. And then that money that I put in the account, you don't just want to leave it sitting there doing nothing for you. You want to make sure that it's being invested. And if you're someone who invests for the long term in the same ETF, for example, on a monthly basis, this is a really great feature for that purpose. So again, if you were going to set that up, you literally just click up set up a recurring investment. You're going to search for what you want to invest in. Let's use XEQT because I keep using it as an example here. You're going to click buy. It's a recurring. You see that at the top. It's not market or limit. It's a recurring one. You're going to put in your amounts. So let's say $2,000 a month. I'll give my examples. When do I want to do it? I want to do it on the 30th of every month, starting this month. Again, frequency would be monthly instead. Then it's your funding source. So in this case, my checking account, that's where that money would get pulled from, and into my RSP, for example. I can then review that. It gives me a review of all the information I just put in. And as soon as I confirm it, it's going to do that for me. It's going to automatically buy that ETF that I selected on that date every single month. Okay, so now let's back out of here. The very last thing I want to show you, the last little tab here, is the clock, I guess it's a little clock. This is all your activity. So you can actually go through everything that's pending. So if you've selected an investment, right, on a recurring basis, that would be pending. Your order history, transfers, deposits, withdrawals, and also purchases. So if you do use your Wealthsimple Cash account specifically to spend out of, all your purchases would show up there too. So basically everything you do with this app would all show up under the activity section. The very last thing I have to highlight here is if we go back to your homepage and go up to the top, you see the little person icon, that's your profile. Here you can see what member you are, right? So if you're a core, premium, or generation, how far you are from the next status point, and it also reminds you of the different benefits and perks you get. So because I'm a premium member, it shows me my high interest savings account rate, the fact that I get free USD accounts, all of those different features. And I can also request directly to talk to customer service from this part of the app too. All right, so that's it for the Wealthsimple app walkthrough specifically. If you have any questions, anything that somehow I didn't show you, make sure you ask away in the comments below.
So that's the entire Wealthsimple platform overview that we have for you today. If you have any questions, make sure you ask away in the comments. And remember, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe because we post videos every single week.